how does the emotional health interfere with being fit? But all of a sudden we see so-and-so person acted out, end up committing this crime. Or it's very important, very, very important that you keep your emotional health in check. Hello, my name is Rashpal and welcome to another episode for Strongest in the Bloodline. Today I'm going to talk about 4 pillars of fitness. What are those 4 pillars? We all know when we think about getting fit or getting healthy, 2 of the most prominent things we always, jump up to, that is one, getting physically fit, which is either doing walk, playing a sport, being athletic, going to the gym, or start exercising of any form. Then we look into what goes on into the kitchen, the kind of food we are eating. That's where we start looking, we need to fix our nutrition. There are 2 another aspects that needs same amount of attention as you do being physically fit or the nutrition. So let's talk about all 4 of them. First one, physical fitness or being physically healthy. That comes up with having mobility, having a decent amount of flexibility, you're maintaining your strength, maintaining your lean mass, keeping your body fat percentage on a lower levels. Another unit for females, anywhere between 18 to 22%, for males 13 to 18%. That's sort of like a normal average range of being healthy on a physical fitness. That's where the numbers comes in. And then the second aspect we always talk about is nutrition. What does nutrition has to do with it? So when we're trying to be healthy, it's very important how you fuel yourself, what sort of food you're eating, what sort of the nutrition choices you're making. You could be doing everything right in the gym or being physically active, going for walks, playing sport, spending an hour and a half or whatever time in the gym 4 or 5 times a week. But if you're not really looking after what you eat or what you put in your body, the physical results doesn't really match up or doesn't really add up with your effort. Third most important aspect that no one literally consider or keep in mind when they're trying to be healthy is emotional health. You heard it right, emotional health. What's emotional health? Like, what are we talking about here, or how does the emotional health interfere with being fit? Let me give you a small example. You have done everything right. As I said earlier, you have done everything right in the gym, your nutrition is spot on, but you still don't feel motivated to go to the gym. You drag yourself there, and even after the workout for another 2-3 hours you feel fine, you feel something that you have accomplished. But then as the day goes by or as the gap increases between your previous and the next workout, you start to feel down. You're not really at your happiest, or you're not really at your most ambitious mentally. There could be a lot of things that happen in your life. There's the stress coming from your family, coming financially, stress coming from your jobs, or just in general, like there are a lot of things that goes on in daily life in everyone. We all face a lot of challenges that emotionally drown us. It's very important, very, very important that you keep your emotional health in check. Most of us just bury things inside, and it turns into anxiety, turns into panic attacks, turns into depression, turns into a lot of other mental health issues, and that is not really healthy. You could be looking absolutely phenomenal outside. Your plate looks fine, your nutrition is spot on, but all of a sudden we see or we hear these news, so-and-so person acted out and end up committing this crime, or end up having this domestic violence issues, end up being physically abusive towards someone they knew for a very, very long time. That all is is an outburst of that emotional depression that you had for a very, very long time. Talk to someone, talk to a professional, get a professional guidance, professional help in terms of how to deal with it, how to keep it at the minimal, and that will drastically change the outcome of your future, outcome of your life in general. The 4th most important pillar that I tell my clients, and again, it's the most neglected thing in today's world. At least 95% people, those who are going to the gym, don't even think about it, or haven't even heard about it. That's the spiritual health. When I say spiritual health, I'm not talking about following a religion. Whatever religion you follow, perfect. When I say spiritual health, that means being in sync with your inner self and your outer self. How does that play an important role? You have your physical health, you have your nutrition health, you have your emotional health. When you combine all 3, that's where it leads to inner self. You will start self-reflecting more and more on a deeper level mentally, and right inside your emotions, you are more in balance to control it. That is where the spiritual health comes in. One of the most basic exercise that I recommend my clients, some of my clients who struggle with anxiety or panic attacks, or have a lot of depression in life in general, a lot of imbalance in emotional health as well, is a method called box breathing. What box breathing is, think of like you have a square box in your hand or square or something. So you do 5 seconds or 5 count breathe in. So you go, you hold your breath for 5 seconds. Then you breathe out for 5 seconds. And hold again for 5 seconds. And you repeat this process. Try this process next time when you feel very anxious, next time when you feel not yourself, try this 5-second or box breathing. This will help you calm yourself down. This will help you bring yourself to the present moment. This will help you think positively. Whatever chaos going on in your head will calm down. So my advice, work on yourself physically, nutritionally, emotionally, and spiritually. Bring all 4 in sync and you will have your fitness. My name is Rashpal. I'll see you next time. Peace out.